Hello there, welcome to Banter-Cast with Reyes Martinez. I am Reyes Martinez, and today we have a great interview for you. Alexa Leigh Corbett, we're going to get to that in a minute, but first, here's Where Is My Mind by the Pixies.
Stop. With your feet on the air, your head on the ground. Try this trick and spin it. Yeah. Your head will collapse if there's nothing in it, and you'll ask yourself, where is my mind? Where is my mind? Where is my mind? Way out in the water, see it swimming. I was swimming in the Caribbean. Animals were hiding behind the rock, except for little fish. But they told me sweats trying to toss to me, so I went, where is my mind? Where is my mind? Where is my mind? Way out in the water, see it swimming. With your feet on the air, your head on the ground. Try this trick and spin it, yeah. Your head will collapse if there's nothing in it, and you'll ask yourself, where is my mind? Where is my mind? Where is my mind?
You like that professional fade right there? Just like real life. Okay, so yeah, thank you for listening. Again, hang on, sorry. This podcast is free on iTunes. I'm still kind of working that out, so once it's good, we'll figure it out. But for now, it's going to be up on my YouTube, and I'll post it on the Facebook so you can see it or hear it.
What exactly is a podcast?
I don't
I know
know.
it's in the dictionary now. Like, it was added to the dictionary, and I feel like that means I should actually know what it is. I have a vague idea, but I don't really know.
Mm-hmm. Go on with that. I got to relight my cigarette real quick.
Well, I don't know. Pod, so I think of Apple, so it's obviously Apple initiated.
Right.
And then cast, so like maybe like a telecast. So like a free telecast, but over the internet, so that you could download it or listen to it as many times as you want. Is that what it is?
Something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Are they just audio?
Yeah, this is just audio. We're not gonna do video, just because
Okay.
I didn't wear my cute little button-up shirt and shit like that. So
Aww.
I didn't get dressed up because it is, of course, a Sunday night. Anyway, that voice is, of course, Alexa Corbett. Do you want me to say your full name or just
Yeah.
Alexa Leigh Corbett? That way, if you're looking on Amazon or Barnes & Noble,
Close.
you can find her. Obviously, the author that I've been talking about having on for a while. Really excited about it because it's the first legitimate interview. So, real quick, for people who are tuning in and kind of don't know who you are, just like we did last night, just the Reader's Digest
The Reader's Digest.
version of what you are.
Well, I'm a person.
Okay. I mean,
If you
that's.
want me to expand, I can.
I mean, eloquent in its brevity, but.
The Reader's Digest. Yeah.
I asked that for that last night, but that's because we were both really rambling. Like, we would go on
Sure.
something I called shooting the bird.
You went over that as well.
We did.
I'm a poet, a writer, and on my business card it says adventurist. Really isn't a word. I made it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. Instead of my mom, not so much my dad. But I write poetry because of my brother, who it's okay, dog. I have a dog with me, and he loves to talk to people via the webcam.
Yeah, no worries. We met Griswold last night. I met Griswold last night.
Yes, Griswold is a very intelligent dog that I rescued from the shelter, and he's a Chow Shepherd mix. He's very furry, and he likes the snow. It's his favorite thing in the world. If he sees snow, he will cry until we let him go play in it. And he just rolls in it and has
Yeah,
a good all the time. But he's from the shelter, and he's very smart. So whenever I video chat, he tends to gravitate towards the computer because he actually will watch TV, and when it starts getting suspenseful, he'll whimper.
Mhm.
Suspense.
Right.
It's bizarre. I've never seen anything like it. It's almost like he's a person.
Hmm.
But that's Griswold. So if you hear random whimpering, that's Griswold
We got
talking.
Yeah, and for the theater of the mind, I mean, imagine a small, fluffy bear, but way more adorable and way less threatening. That would be
Yeah.
about Griswold,
With wise eyes.
with really wise eyes, like a wizard. Yeah.
But back to what I was saying. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was just off it completely.
Okay.
So in June of 2009, on the 15th, it was Monday, my older brother overdosed on heroin and passed away. Before that, for like a year and a half, I'd been having some family problems, especially with my dad, more or less butting heads in a dramatic way. So I convinced my family to go to therapy. It took me a while, and once I got me into therapy and my sister and my dad, I slowly convinced my brother to go. And I knew he was drug addicted. My parents didn't want to believe me, but I knew, and I knew there's a difference between being enthusiastic, being curious, and being an addict.
Mm-hmm.
There's people who will use now and then, and I don't agree with it, but I'm not going to judge it. That's just what they do. And they're not addicted, but they enjoy it. That's their recreation.
Right.
I'm not going to say anything about it, but that's what some people do.
Mm-hmm.
Others are curious, they try it once and they probably might not like it. And they probably don't do it again, or they do it really infrequently, like once in a blue moon. And that's just curiosity. It's that wonder. And yes, it can potentially kill somebody or hurt them, but so can walking across the street. So
Yeah,
it's
a lot of things can kill you.
why live in those boundaries? Then you have people who are drug addicts who use and will, they don't mean to lie. Like, they're not bad people, but they're just so addicted that they'll do anything to get the drug. And even if it means going across their own moral boundaries, but they do have lines.
Mm-hmm.
Like my brother, who sold my Xbox allegedly to buy drugs, never sold his Breitling watch that my dad gave him for his 18th birthday or something, because that was special to him. So it kind of shows he wouldn't go so far as to do something symbolic.
Right. It would be more.
Right. So people have boundaries, but he was a drug addict and he did pass away.
Mm-hmm.
And I had gotten him into sober living. You know, first we got him into rehab, and I said, you should really go. And he was like, fine, I'll go. And so my dad, you know, got him and paid for it, that whole shindig. And after that, he went to sober living, and then he kind of relapsed. And so he was going to a new sober living place. And I guess he actually was getting his life in order, but I think he just thought one last time, you know, like my last hurrah type of thing. And he shot up with a bad dose because, you know, it was probably too potent.
Mm-hmm.
And he just slipped away. Like, his respiratory system was, you know, suppressed. And when that happens, it's not a painful, like, oh my God, you're seizing and there's foam at the mouth type death. It's a very slow, you just get real tired, you kind of lay back and close your eyes, and, you know, people just slip away. That's what happens, you know. Like, they go into, like, a drug type coma, and then their heart stops beating. You know, it's peaceful. It's not violent. So I know that he's in a better place because he's up with God. But that's me now. Me then, I was just a total wreck.
Well, yeah, I mean, who wouldn't be? That's insane.
He's my older brother, and
I mean, how old were you when that all happened?
I was 18.
Yeah, see, so that's like your really formative years, and for something like that to happen to you.
Well, it's more than that, though, because he was autistic, and he had ADHD, he had Asperger's syndrome. It's a form of autism. He's high functioning, very smart, very, very smart, very gifted, but he has no idea about social cues and norms and societal rules. It just doesn't exist to him.
Right.
And later, close to his death, probably in the last year of his life, I realized that he was showing signs of schizophrenia. A psychologist guy, actually he's a marriage and family therapist, an MFT, but he said that he went over the diagnostic rules, and my brother was schizophrenic too. So you have a schizophrenic autistic kid. I mean, my dad just didn't know how to handle that,
right.
You know? And then behind him, my brother, you know, there's me, and I was dyslexic and ADHD. I mean, I'm over in La La Land 90% of the time.
Yeah, for sure.
And I didn't learn to read till I was 10. So me and my brother had a very strong bond. I helped him in social cues, and he helped me pretend like I could read when I had to do homework. He kind of just asked me questions and filled it in for me, which is a good brother because my mom never asked him to. He did that all on his own. So, you know, it goes to show you that somewhere, you know, we had that bond as siblings because we moved so much. And so, you know, when he died, it was like, oh my God, I just lost my best friend and my brother.
Well, yeah, of course.
You know, and I mean, I had stood up for him all the time. Like, one time he was getting in a huge argument with my dad, and I got in front and got in the middle and, you know, clocked my dad. Won't get much more into that, but, you know, I protected him. I was always protecting my brother because, you know, he's sensitive. He's fragile. But it was like one thing that stays with me is a week before he died, I went up to him. I said, we had our Sunday brunches with Dad. So this was right after in the parking lot. I was like, oh, I'll walk him to my brother to his car because he brought one of his friends with him, this girl.
Right.
And I told him, like, off to the side, I said, you need to stop. And he looked at me, he goes, what? I'm like, I know you're still, like, using. And he goes, what? What do you mean? I'm like, don't lie to me. He goes, fine. I'm like, in 1 week, if you don't stop, you're going to die. I was like, your body can't filter this anymore. It's too much. I said, please just stop for at least 2 weeks. I don't care if you do it again after those 2 weeks. Just stop for 2 weeks and let your body rest. Let it recover. Let that stuff filter out. Please just give it a rest. You know, I'll do whatever you want. I'll give you money for food. Just don't use, okay? Like, if you need something to do, call me up. I'll, you know, go hang out with you. Just not for 2 weeks. Just give it a break because you're on that borderline and I'm worried about you. Like, I mean, in a week's time, if you don't stop, you're going to die. And then what happened in a week? He overdosed. And it's like, I kind of saw it coming. And I was the only one that did. Nobody wanted to listen to me. My parents, my dad mainly, didn't want to hear that his son was imperfect somehow. You know, he already had to deal with the fact that he was autistic, and that connotation goes with kids that are slow. What he didn't see is how bright and intelligent my brother really was. It's that gift of the mental illness that even brings about intelligence. And he didn't see that my brother was exceptionally smart because he saw this is a disability rather than a gift. You know,
Right.
Andrews was more uninhibited. It's a good way to put it.
Hmm.
But that inhibition came with a price. He also didn't really see risks and consequence.
Right. Now, the schizophrenia that he had, I mean, for me, my family, almost all of my extended family has died of overdose. So,
Right.
you know, I'm not a stranger to all this. But do you think that the schizophrenia was brought on by the drug use, or was that a hereditary thing? Do they know?
It's a hereditary thing.
Okay.
Extended drug use, especially with heroin, opiates, are prone for creating hallucinations.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody's already prone to creating hallucinations,
Mm-hmm.
and then you give them a drug that causes hallucination,
Right.
gonna
You're
get
just
something
unlocking that door.
catastrophic going on there that's like super severe.
Yeah.
I think that you can say whatever drug you want triggered it. Maybe it was the Adderall at 5 milligrams when he was 4 years old.
Oh,
You know,
wow,
he did.
yeah.
You know, training that young brain here to be dependent. Or
Mhm.
maybe he really was just more and more dependent. Maybe we'll never know.
Yeah, there still needs to be more studies done on that. That concludes part 1 of Banter-Cast, our special edition with author and adventurist Alexa Leigh Corbett. Thank you for listening, first off. A couple things real quick before we finish up here. I want to say that this podcast, hopefully, or whatever this is, I will put it on Ustream. I will put it on... I'm trying to get it on iTunes right now, like I mentioned like an idiot before. But I was supposed to keep that secret. But we're trying to get on iTunes right now. We'll see how that goes. We are definitely on YouTube. That's probably where you'll see this as a YouTube link. So we're trying to grow more and get more interviews in. Hopefully my next guest I'm really hoping that things work out, because if it does, you're going to hear some really strong political arguments. But we'll just go from there. I'll leave it at that. Again, part 2 will come out next week, same time, hopefully around the same time. Every Wednesday, folks, Banter-Cast. If you want to be a guest, Facebook me, because if you're listening to this, you're probably one of my Facebook friends. Or email me at martinezdiver@gmail.com. We'll set up a day. We'll figure out a Skype connection or whatever you got. I'll log on to any site and we'll get an interview. And we'll just talk, man. We'll have fun. I hope that this was up to you guys' standards. Again, it's really tough going into this, but thank you for bearing with me. I'm going to iron out all the kinks, and we'll move forward from there. I am working on a new book right now. Well, not a new book, basically we're going to try it out. So again, I'm posting that little excerpts on my Facebook page under my notes if you'd like to check those out. They're not for the easily offended though, so just wanted to put that out there right away. Okay, so let me just summarize what I said. Banter-Cast every week, Wednesday. Just go into YouTube and check it out, or hopefully I'll make the announcement when we are definitely on iTunes. That'll be the big day. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Keep it safe, keep it real, make sure to roll them tight, and keep those drinks full. I'm gonna go with that. Fuck it, I'm going with that as my my call out line. So thank you very much. Have a great day. I'm screaming and I don't want to piss off my neighbors. Have a good one. Bye bye.
Just a little